Today on Learning with Lisa, we'll do long division using the mnemonic Cows Don't Make Study Buddies, which stands for CDMSB, C compare, D divide, M multiply, S subtract, and B bring down. Our first problem will be 532 divided by 2. I'll write CDMSB in the corner to help me remember what to do. Cows don't make study buddies. I'll put my problem in a traditional bracket. So my dividend, 532, goes under the bracket. My divisor, 2, goes on the outside. 532 divided by 2. My first step is compare. I'm going to decide if 2 fits into 5. Or if I have 5 parking spots, can I fit 2 cars in there? I can, so my answer is yes. Next step is to divide. How many times can I fit 2 into 5? Well, 2 times 2 is 4. I'm getting close to 5 without going over, so I can fit 2 into 5 2 times without going over. I'll put that 2 into my quotient above the digit I just used, above my 5. So I divided. My next step is to multiply. I multiply the number I just wrote down times my divisor. 2 times 2 is 4. And I'll put my answer down here below the digit from my dividend that I used. And I multiply. Next step is subtract. 5 minus 4 is 1. I take the number I just wrote down and subtract it from the digit above it. I subtracted. Next step is bring down. I'll bring down the next digit from my dividend, which is 3. And 3 goes here next to the 1 that I had in my difference from my subtraction problem. And I finished bring down. Now I can go back to the beginning of my steps and start again. I have a new number, 13. I'm going to use it when I compare. I decide, does 2, my divisor, fit into 13? Yes, it does. Divide. How many times does 2 fit into 13 without going over? 2 fits into 13 6 times without going over. So I'll put my 6 into my quotient above the digit of my dividend that I just used. Finished with divide. Multiply. Take the digit I just wrote down, multiply it times my divisor. 6 times 2 is 12. Next step is subtract. Subtract the number I just wrote from the number above it. 13 minus 12 is 1. Next step, bring down. I'll bring down the next digit in my dividend, which is 2. And now I have a new number, 12. And I'll start my steps again. Compare. 2 does fit into 12. Divide. 2 fits into 12 6 times without going over. So I'll put my 6 here into my quotient above the next digit. Multiply. 6 times 2 is equal to 12. Subtract. 12 minus 12 is 0. Bring down. I have no more digits to bring down. If I have no more digits to bring down and I have a 0 at the bottom, that means I am finished. I am done with my quotient. My quotient is 266. So 532 divided by 2 is 266. That is my answer. The next problem we'll do will have a remainder at the end or a decimal at the end. I'll show you how to do each one. 4,382 divided by 5. Cows don't make study buddies. Okay, I'll put my dividend here, 4,382, my bracket, and my divisor on the outside. 4,382 divided by 5. First step, compare. 5 does not fit into 4. If I have 4 parking spots, I cannot fit 5 cars in there. So 5 fits into 4 0 times. So 4 divided by 5 is 0, and I'm just going to put a little tiny 0 up there because it's at the beginning of a whole number, and I don't really need to put it in my answer, but I need it there as a visual reminder to help me remember I used that digit already. So I divided. Next step is multiply. 0 times 5 is 0. Subtract. 4 minus 0 is 4. And bring down. I'll bring down my 3. It's the next digit in my dividend. My new number is 43. So I'll go back to compare. 5 does fit into 43. Divide. 5 fits into 43 8 times without going over. Multiply. 8 times 5 is 40. Subtract. 43 minus 40 is 3. Bring down. I'll bring down the next digit in my dividend, which is 8. My new number is 38. And I go back to the beginning. Compare. 5 does fit into 38. Divide. 5 fits into 38 7 times without going over, because 7 times 5 is 35. Subtract. 8 minus 5 is 3. 3 minus 3 is nothing, so I get a 3 in my difference. Bring down. I'll bring down my 2 because that is the next digit in my dividend. And go back to the beginning. Compare. 5 does fit into 32. 5 fits into 32 6 times without going over. 6 times 5 is 30. And 32 minus 30 is 2. Next step is bring down. I have no more digits to bring down, but I don't have a 0 at the bottom, so I'm not finished yet. I have two choices. I can put a remainder in my quotient, or I could put a decimal in my quotient. If you're going to put a remainder in your quotient, you use this number from the bottom, put an R, and then you put a 2. What that means is that 5 fits into this number 876 times, but there are 2 left over, or 2 remaining. If you're going to use a decimal instead, you're going to need another digit to bring down so you can continue your problem. If I put a decimal point here, I can put as many zeros as I want at the end of my dividend, and it will still be equivalent or worth the same as the dividend I had before. So if I put a decimal here, then I need to bring that decimal up into my quotient. Now I have something to bring down. And my new number is 20. 5 does fit into 20. Divide. 5 fits into 20 exactly 4 times. So 4 goes above the next digit into my quotient. 4 times 5 is 20. And subtract 20 minus 20 is 0. I have no more digits to bring down, and I have a 0 at the bottom. That means I'm finished. I'm done. So my quotient is 876.4, or 876 and 4/10. We'll do one more problem. This one will have a decimal at the end that doesn't end as neatly as the one we just did. And I'll show you what you can do when that happens. This is 9,227 divided by 3. Cows don't make study buddies. Okay, 9,227 divided by 3. Compare. 3 fits into 9. Divide. 3 fits into 9 exactly 3 times. Multiply. 3 times 3 is 9. Subtract. 9 minus 9 is 0. Bring down 2. Now this is just a 2. Go back to the beginning, compare. 3 does not fit into 2. If it doesn't fit, that means when I divide, I'm going to get a 0 in my quotient. I'll bring up my comma here, and I'll move on to multiply. 0 times 3 is 0. Subtract. 2 minus 0 is 2. And bring down. My new number is 22. Compare. 3 does fit into 22. Divide. 3 fits into 22 7 times without going over. Multiply. 7 times 3 is 21. Subtract. 22 minus 21 is 1. Bring down. My new number is 17. Go back to the beginning. Compare. 3 does fit into 17. Divide. 3 fits into 17 5 times without going over, because 3 times 5 is 15. Multiply. 5 times 3 is 15. Subtract. 17 minus 15 is 2. Bring down. I have nothing left to bring down, but I don't have a 0 at the bottom, so I'm not finished yet. I'm going to bring this out into a decimal. So I'm going to put a 0.0 at the end of my dividend, and I need to bring that decimal up into my quotient. Now I have a 0 to bring down. And my new number is 20. Compare. 3 does fit into 20. Divide. 3 fits into 20 6 times without going over. Multiply. 6 times 3 is 18. Subtract. 20 minus 18 is 2. Still not done. I have a 2 at the bottom and nothing to bring down. So I can put another 0 at the end of my dividend to bring down. And my new number is 20. 3 fits into 20, and it fits into 26 times without going over. 6 times 3 is 18, and 20 minus 18 is 2. I'll need another 0 to bring down. New number is 20. And again, 3 fits into 26 times without going over. 6 times 3 is 18, and 20 minus 18 is 2. I can see a pattern forming here, and I can see that my 6 will continue on forever and ever if I keep going. That means if I want, I can put a line above my 6, and that just means it's repeating forever. So at this point, I could say my quotient is 3075.6 repeating. My other choice is to round my answer, and I'll round it to the nearest hundredth. So I'll underline the hundredths place and circle the next digit. This digit tells me to give this digit a shove. 5 and above, give it a shove. So 6 would become a 7, and everything else would stay the same. So in this case, my rounded quotient will be 3075 and 67 hundredths. Thank you for watching Learning with Lisa today. You can subscribe by pushing the button on the bottom.